wind howled through the desolate streets as I approached the Alome school, its windows shattered and its walls covered in ivy. A chill ran down my spine, but curiosity drove me forward. As I entered, the air grew colder, and a sense of unease settled in my chest. I could feel eyes watching me, even though the hallway was empty. Whispers echoed from the shadows, carrying fragments of conversations long past. My steps faltered as a distant giggle reverberated, but no one was there. I tried to shake off the feeling, convincing myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks. But then the lockers began to rattle, as if someone was trapped inside, begging for release. I pushed on, drawn deeper into the heart of the school. The walls seemed to close in around me, and the flickering lights cast eerie shadows that danced along the corridor. A classroom door creaked open on its own, revealing rows of empty desks. But as I turned to leave, a child's laughter echoed, and a chalkboard suddenly filled with horrifying drawings of twisted figures. My heart raced as I stumbled into the gymnasium, where a lone swing swayed gently. A spectral figure emerged from the darkness, dressed in tattered school uniform. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, fixing me in a gaze that chilled me to my core. It beckoned me closer, and as I took a step, the ground seemed to shift beneath me. Voices filled my head, memories of the school's tragic past flooding my mind. The Alome school had once been a place of laughter and learning, until a fire claimed the lives of countless students. The spirits of those lost souls were said to linger, trapped between worlds, forever seeking companionship. As the ghostly figure reached out, I felt an icy grip around my wrist. Panic surged through me, and I pulled away, fleeing the school as fast as my legs could carry me. The whispers and laughter followed me, fading only when I reached the safety of daylight. The Alome school remained, a haunting reminder of the horrors that had transpired within its walls, and the souls that still walked alone. The nightmares began that night, as I lay in bed trying to shake off the memories of the Alome school. Shadows danced on my walls, and every creak of the floorboards felt like a footstep approaching. I tried to convince myself that it was all in my head, but the feeling of being watched persisted. Each night the dreams grew more vivid and terrifying. I found myself back in the dimly lit corridors of the school, unable to escape. The whispers grew louder, forming sinister chants that echoed in my ears. Faces twisted in pain and fear flashed before me, their eyes pleading for release from their eternal torment. Desperate for answers, I began researching the history of the Alome school. What I uncovered sent shivers down my spine. The fire had been no accident. It had been deliberately set by a vengeful janitor who believed the school's administration had wronged him. The children had been trapped inside, their cries for help unheard as the flames consumed them. As the days went on, my grip on reality began to slip. I saw glimpses of ghostly figures out of the corner of my eye, their forms flickering in and out of existence. Sleep became my enemy, as the nightmares grew more intense, blurring the lines between the waking world and the realm of the spirits. I returned to the Alome school one last time, determined to confront the malevolent presence that haunted me. The air grew heavy as I stepped through the broken entrance, and the whispers surrounded me, a cacophony of pain and sorrow. The ghostly figure appeared before me once again, its eyes burning with a mixture of anger and longing. With a trembling voice I spoke, pleading for peace for the trapped souls. The figure's gaze softened, and it reached out, its fingers brushing against mine. In that moment, I felt a surge of emotion, a rush of memories and feelings that weren't my own. The pain of the children, the desperation of the janitor, all merged with my own emotions. As I closed my eyes, I saw a vision of the fire. But this time the children were surrounded by a warm light, their forms fading away as they found release. The janitor's spirit stood beside them, his expression finally at peace. When I opened my eyes, the Alome school was bathed in an ethereal glow, and the whispers had subsided. The nightmares ceased, and the weight that had settled on my shoulders lifted. The Alome school was no longer a place of fear, but a testament to the power of redemption and forgiveness. The spirits had finally found their rest, and I too had found solace in helping them find peace. In the weeks that followed my encounter with the spirits of the Alome school, I found myself drawn to other haunted places, compelled by a newfound empathy for the lost souls that lingered there. Armed with my research and the lessons I had learned, I began to assist others in finding closure for the restless spirits that haunted their lives. One case led me to a dilapidated mansion at the edge of town. The stories told of a reclusive artist who had lost his mind and took his own life. The path I had chosen was not an easy one, but it was deeply rewarding. With each encounter, I learned to approach the restless spirits with empathy and understanding, gently guiding them towards closure. As time went on, my reputation as a spirit guide spread, and people from all walks of life sought my help to ease the tormented souls that haunted their homes and lives. One particularly haunting case led me to a remote village, where a centuries-old curse had cast a shadow over the inhabitants. A malevolent spirit, known as the Eternal Sufferer, had been wreaking havoc for generations, leaving a trail of misfortune and misery in its wake. The villagers lived in perpetual fear, and their community was on the brink of collapse. The entity's presence was palpable as I entered the village, an oppressive aura that seemed to suffocate all joy. Determined to break the curse, I delved into the village's history and uncovered a tale of betrayal and revenge. The spirit had once been a kind-hearted healer who was wronged by those she trusted. In her anguish, she had turned to dark magic, cursing her own existence and binding herself to the realm of the living. Armed with this knowledge, I sought out the spirit's lingering presence and engaged in a dialogue that spanned days. With patience and compassion, I unraveled her tragic story, acknowledging her pain and validating her emotions. It was a slow process, but as the spirit began to open up, her malevolent energy waned, replaced by a palpable yearning for release. Together, we devised a ritual that would sever her ties to the living world, allowing her to finally find peace in the afterlife. The ritual required the collective efforts of the villagers, who had been skeptical of my intentions at first. But as they witnessed the transformation of the spirit before their eyes, they too felt a shift in their own lives. As the ritual concluded, a sense of calm washed over the village. The Eternal Sufferer's presence dissipated, and the curse that had plagued generations was finally broken. The villagers looked at me with gratitude, their faces no longer marked by fear, but by hope. With each successful case, I realized that my role was not just about easing the pain of the spirits, but also about healing the living. Through my journey, I had not only honed my ability to communicate with the other side, but had also become a bridge between two worlds, helping both the living and the departed find closure. And so my path continued, a delicate dance between the realms of the living and the dead. As I moved forward, I carried with me the lessons learned from every encounter. That compassion, empathy, and the power of forgiveness could break even the most entrenched cycles of pain and suffering, creating a path towards redemption and peace for both sides of the veil.